So
No,
And just so everybody is aware, we are recording this meeting and it will be posted on our YouTube channel at a date. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday.
thank you. So I'd like to call our regular council meeting of Tuesday, October 24th to order. Respectfully acknowledging that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Quagga people, Galakessa. I'd like to add a couple of things to the agenda. Under business arising, the welcoming communities request. And as well, would it be business arising or under new business, a motion from the committee of the whole?
It could be business arising.
Business arising, so under both of those, business arising. We have a motion of the agenda as amended. Moved by Councillor Dorwin, seconded by Councillor Tidbury. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. We have the minutes of our regular council meeting held October 10th, 2023 for adoption. Missed that. That's it. Councillor Tidbury,
yeah, that motion, the October the 10th, yeah.
thank you. Seconded by Councillor Smith. Any errors or omissions? All in favor? Carried. We have delegation of Mr. Rob Dermel from the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 237 for the presentation of the first Poppy 2023 Poppy campaign. Mr. Dermel, would you like to come forward?
Boy, it only seems like a couple months ago that I did this. It's been a whole year, where to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, on behalf of the Legion and the Poppy Foundation campaign, I'm proud to present the mayor with the first Poppy of the year, or the campaign. On the phone, hope you want to do here. I don't think I poked you last time, did I?
Dennis was the mayor the last time.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, this is my.
Different
first
man.
As a mayor.
Could I
You didn't poke me. No, you're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
Trina. And we are switching things around a bit this year. So now you can take your Poppy without the pin. You can put the little black center in, and it's like a lapel pin now. They finally come up with something that was working.
That's awesome.
Right on, sort of a lapel. So, thank you very much.
Look this way. Awesome, thank you.
And we are also gonna leave a few of the tent cards. You take a picture of the scan area, the Cody thing, and it'll take you to the Poppy site where they have stories, or then you take a picture of the Poppy. Or focus on your Poppy, and it'll take you to a story of serving members from all the areas of action.
Oh,
It's really quite neat.
That is very nice.
So we have the, and we have pins here and the inserts for the council members. We have these out, Robert, council members. And we'll be out of this. Now you've got.
we're not allowed to wear them in that, no, I don't think so.
Supposed to be, I think it's, I can find out.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
I think you can.
Well, as soon as
Soon as the mayor gets it.
Actually,
I think there's a time you have to put
there's
it
a timing. We're not really supposed to be wearing them now, right?
Yeah,
Nope.
everybody, you can.
First,
Oh, you
Yeah.
can? Okay.
Because we're Port Harding and we do things our way.
Funny. We can do it anytime you want.
Thank you very much.
I like that.
They're thinking.
jabbing myself.
Yeah, no.
I bet you wish you were on council, you could get some graft too, eh?
I think those are the neatest
Yeah.
idea they come up with.
Yeah.
maybe like John Blood,
Mhm.
and I don't, but that's the center.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I
That's a
don't
good
believe
idea.
every year I lose.
Oh, yeah.
Hook up on my,
Hundreds of dollars every year.
You're gonna be the man for, we're gonna get together and talk about the 11th.
Yes,
Okay,
set up, take down.
okay.
Oh.
So thank you very much.
thank you. Oh, that's perfect, man.
So our next item is from the BC Common Ground Alliance, Dr. Dave Bespili, Executive Director, and Mike Roberts, Chief Executive Officer of the BC Municipal Safety Association, with a couple of awards, with the 2023 City of Excellent Education Award, plus I believe another award, and our CAO Nelson Smith.
This gets to be me, but we'll make sure that the mayor's in the photos. So I'm gonna ask our utilities crew, who are all here today, to come on up and stand with me if that's possible. And I would like to present you with a couple of awards, which are pretty exciting. So, the first one is the Dedicated Service Award. So this is an award that's given by the Public Works Association of British Columbia, and it's awarded to local governments for their dedicated service. Due to the strong work ethic of our utilities, community, what we call our community, this, that's what you are, is our community, and your commitment to education, certification, your strong work practices, commitment to safety, and your continuous training, and your ability to tackle all those challenging tasks, and your adeptness to dealing with emergencies, which we do know that prior to last year, we had 29 power outages in 1 year, which goes so nicely. That's to compare to the other, so how often they do happen.
Had to go out.
I do it regularly, and you guys are always out there to make sure that we all have continuous wastewater and water services coming into our community, as well as making sure that some of our other members who are under service are always helped as well. And that goes to the Guasco Equita, the Quetzino, the Memphis First Nation, and Gilbert Island as well. So we're always making sure that they're taken care of. So for your outstanding service and this esteemed recognition, your contributions have made your community and dedication to providing reliable utility services, and you should be celebrated and rewarded for what you're doing. So I just want to say congratulations from the District of Port Hardy on behalf of myself, and I'm sure Council is there. So the first award is the Dedicated Service Award for 2023. We would like to hold it because there's another award after this. Award, which I'll try not to gumble this one up, so I apologize. So the purpose of this next award, which is very pretty, by the way, like you actually might not get it.
We don't.
You know, it's me, but I'm thinking it looks really nice in my office. So the purpose of this next award is to recognize local governments for their activities that improve ground disturbance, safe excavation techniques, and best practice at and around underground infrastructure in the year previous to this award. So our utilities department has been nominated to receive this award of City of Excellence in the Education Department, an award for exemplary education to promote safe excavation practices. This award focuses on safety in the context of underground utilities, archaeological preservation, and the utilities department's expedited response to emergencies and customer service requests. It is a proactive approach to informing property owners and contractors to demonstrate a dedication of responsibility when it comes to ground disturbances. So I'll just let everybody know that our utilities department is there on the other end of the phone when those BC1 calls are coming in to make sure that people are also adhering to the same regulations. Doesn't always happen, but we're always ensuring that we're doing that. So the District of Port Hardy's efforts and the Utilities Department to contribute to the overall well-being of the community, it's making a positive impact on the environment and the stakeholders in which it serves. So I just want to say congratulations. And on behalf of the District of Port Hardy, this beautiful award, which I'm sure you've all seen before I stole it. But it is a beautiful award. And
nice.
it actually made wood really. He's gonna take a little picture. Get on here. You get one. You gotta get my kids' head to Louisa.
Maybe.
I mean,
Try.
That's great. Thank you.
I'll help a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you much. This place is so. Good line Right, yeah.
It's a pleasure to work with you.
Good job.
We're taking this over to the rink.
Oh,
We're just gonna go skate around.
Good idea.
You're more than welcome to leave here and we'll deliver them down, but if you'd like to take a lap around the rink.
Go take them around the rink.
I'll get it. Thank you.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Congratulations again. And you're welcome to stay, but we won't be offended if you.
We'll not think badly of you if you
Yeah.
hit the rink.
We just knew it. Yeah, you know that.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you very
See
much.
you later, guys.
Night.
Have a good night.
Well, that cleared everybody out.
We still have our faithfuls here.
Yes. All right, so business arising from the minutes, we've got our council action item report for October 10th. For information and comments. Under correspondence, we have from Jackie Lever, the Executive Director, North Island Métis Association, about the Louis Riel Day celebration for information.
Sorry, we have.
Did we jump over our 2 items in business
Oh, right.
that you added?
Oh,
Mayor?
business arising, sorry, yes, I've got it written down here too.
So number 2 being the Welcoming Communities Coalition.
Yes, so the Welcoming Committees Coalition requests to have representation, was it representation on there?
It's in the, action, I thought some in the action.
That, if I may,
Yes, please.
that the district will ready to become a participant member of the Mount Wellington Local Immigrant Partnership Welcoming Communities Coalition was the request from the proponent.
Thank you. And the concern at our last meeting was about clarification about time commitment from the staff, And were you able to find out?
Yes.
Anyone else is right?
Yes, thank you very much. So Louisa was able to reach out and find out, but I did also want to touch on another part that we already do function, that we already do participate. So this is really a membership. And so what it does is it shows the funders that they have support for the work that they're doing. So there is no time commitment, no required time commitment of our staff. But you will continue to receive invitations to participate in membership meetings, community forums, or annual collaboratory events. Now, the one thing that we are a part of is the Immigrant Welcome Center's anti-racism coalition as well. So we actually do have a spot at the table there. And so we also signed into a commitment. And so if there is any issues of racism within our community, they are forwarded to our office and then forwarded off to the Welcome Center. So that's where we act kind of as a intermediary. Thank you. Yeah.
Counselor Dorward,
Well, motion to join the Welcoming Communities.
second by Counselor Tipper. Any other comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. And then the second was our motion from the committee as a whole about CP 2.24 private sewer pump replacement repair grant policy as amended. And motion to approve that,
Motion to approve.
second by Counselor Dukas. Any discussion?
I think, the discussion has passed its way for now. But, as you know, I'll be voting against it. And I still think, you haven't heard the end of it.
Any other comments? All in favor? Opposed? And I'm in favor of it. Thank you. Okay, moving on to business arising, we have the council action item report, October 10th, 2023, for information. Any comments, questions?
So, do we need to, if we, I mean, I don't see any reason why this isn't a good idea, but do you refer this to staff or?
Okay.
Sorry,
Refer what to staff?
sorry, I thought we'd gone on to correspondence.
No,
Not yet.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Sorry, I missed it.
Louis Riel, that's the one we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry, no, I was doing business arising. Oh, my goodness, I've totally gapped out. My apology. So we are on correspondence. The Louis Riel, Day of Celebration, and we have a letter request for the, flag to be raised. And if anyone wants to attend the celebration, to RSVP to the celebration.
I'd move that we raise the fund.
I'll second that.
Any comments? All in favor?
I come from Manitoba and the Métis Federation is very strong and present there and has been for a long time.
And we raised the flag last year, so, so if anyone is here, we are gonna raise it at what time if this was approved?
1:30 p.m.
1:30 p.m.
November 16th.
On November 16th. So if you're around and want to join, it's at 1:30.
No, they had mentioned in the letter, sorry, Mayor,
Yes.
with regards to the 14th to the 21, the whole week, we don't have the flag up for the whole week?
No.
Okay,
Just-
just for the one day?
Yeah, that's all they requested, is just for the
Oh,
one
I
day.
thought they wanted us to have it up for the whole week.
No, it does say for the week.
It does.
From the 14th to the 21st?
Sorry,
Just to clarify, that proponent will be traveling to the North Island on the 16th, which is why we will be getting the card on the 16th.
Got it.
Limited duration.
That makes good sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Moving on to, Adam Ireton, President, 2023-2024 Rotary Club of Port Hardy. Rotary Club of Port Hardy, 2023 Annual Rotary Auction Donation Request.
Excuse myself.
Mhm.
Potential conflict.
Counselor Dugas?
Mayor, we have given before in the past, so I would just make a motion that we do the same for this year.
So it's, if I could,
Yes.
it's 2 recreation passes, one equivalent to an adult punch, one equivalent to a children's punch, and then the, other one is an annual parking pass down at the harbor.
Let's go with the.
Is it?
All three of them, isn't it?
We do.
Yeah, we do all.
We do all three.
But it's,
Second.
for seconds, was it a mortgage
Sorry,
and
no, just parking.
just parking?
Parking.
Okay. Second. And so seconded by Counselor Smith, moved by Counselor Dugas. Would it come out of the grant and aid? Any other so Dugas?
Oh, just the dollar, was the worth for dollar wise?
It's about $200.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
You're good, Janet?
Come on back.
Next item is Kara Arnold, Special Event Coordinator, Port Hardy Chamber of Commerce, Port Hardy Chamber of Commerce Business Excellence Awards 2023 donation request for their silent auction. CEO Nelson Smith.
And we did the exact same thing last year as the previous motion.
Okay, so,
I'll make that motion.
moved by Counselor Dugas, seconded by Counselor Smith. Any comments? All in favor? Okay. Okay, draft minutes of the Bears Park Committee meeting held October 11th, 2023 for information. All good? Draft minutes of the Tourism Advisory Committee meeting held October 13th, 2023 for information.
Oh, Trina was there.
Trees.
He's our rep. Did you get my email?
I did, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still have-
Yeah, I got it, yeah.
Dugas.
Oh, sorry.
Counselor
I'm sorry.
Counselor Textron.
The only,
Just something popped in my brain, sorry.
Counselor Tidbury.
on the tourism one, I asked that the council, would invite the parks to come and talk about the coastal areas of, northern Vancouver Island.
So I was actually going to talk to you about that. Would you also add to that list when, if they come, about talking to them about Marble River Campsite? Because that closed before the September long weekend, the gate went down.
Mm.
And that was, I mean, it's still prime, camping.
Yeah, definitely part. And if we just talk about all the camp areas. But I thought that was Westlands, is it? No? Okay,
Take a drive, well, when it's back open, if you take a drive through, sorry, diverting, part of it's western, but there's a big park.
yeah,
Big part of it
the
is the
trail,
park.
I think, is the park, for sure.
Anyway, so just add that to the list.
Yeah. So, should we ask from a letter, go to parks to come and see us?
To the council as a whole?
Yeah,
Or do you want, I thought it was going to go to the Tourism Advisory Committee, that you're going to request parks to go to the Tourism
Okay.
Advisory Committee.
either way.
See you, Susan.
Yeah, just to clarify, I believe Natalie Stewart is leading the charge on that.
Yes.
So then and then when the meetings are set up, then we'll obviously provide the invitation.
Okay,
Okay,
awesome.
thank you. From Riley Zimmerman, Executive Director, Community Futures, Mount Waddington, request for a partnership support on the Reddit proposal continuation of digital business enhancement project. CAO Smith.
First of all, my apologies for the order of the agenda. That should have gone into correspondence, but apparently I don't drag and drop very well. Okay, so just to kind of give council a bit of a brief background on this. So we currently have Reddit funding right now, which we were able to get a myriad of different projects going. One of them being the Digital Business Enhancement Program. You'll remember we used to call it a business audit. And this is where we have currently, without any advertising, we have 24 subscribed businesses and agencies that are currently utilizing our services under the Reddit program. Because the next Reddit funding, we have allocated funds to go into a downtown revitalization plan. We cannot stack projects on top in order to be able to encompass this. So what Patty and Carly did is they went to Community Futures and asked if they would take the lead on the project and make it more of a regional project where, you know, Port Hardy would still get served, but then Community Futures would do all the administration. So it's approximately about $100,000 project. And there is a component in which we would be required to put in either $10,000 in kind, $10,000 in cash. And we currently have Carly and Patty looking to the other communities to see if there's support in order to continue this project going forward. But for Riley to be able to apply, seeing as it's the District of Port Hardy's project, they're looking for us to be a partner and contribute some funding into the next round, should it come forward. We don't really know what that funding looks like at this point because we're still trying to figure out who our other partners will be working with Community Futures. But my recommendation would be that council support the request pending the budget allocation for the financial plan so that we can confirm what commitment we will be giving.
That motion.
Thank you.
Plus support. Yeah.
Second by Councillor Dugas, moved by Councillor Tidbury, Councillor Robertson. Okay. Any comments, questions? Discussion? I think it's an amazing program, so if we get the funding for it to continue and to expand, that would be a benefit to all the businesses in the Mount Washington area. So. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Finance Department, September 23 check and EFT listing report for information. Our Director of Finance, Nora Mae Isaac, our 2023 Q3 operations expenditure report for information. Director of Finance, would you like to speak to this?
Thank you. So this time, you'll see that I added a bit of a forecast going into Q4, so we've got our at September 30th, where we're sitting with our operations. And then a bit of a forecast, my best estimate going forward to where we'll be at the end of the year. I think that, we're coming, just to say that we came in with a pretty, changed our budget last year and pulled it in quite tight on some things, especially with CPI the way it was, and kind of looked at it in a different view. I feel that we're sitting in a pretty good position and things have come along really nicely this year, and it's, will help going forward to see how we're gonna do it this year as well. Some of the things that are looking like they're over budget right now at Q3 are correcting themselves coming into Q4. We have a few things that still will be over budget that I can see. Some of them are just out of our control. Let's see. So for sure, the cemetery will be coming in, and that's really just been something that's really hard to budget for, and supplies are more expensive. We're looking, Susan's been looking at that to help us with our user fees and stuff, so that we're making sure that we've got the right rates in there for how much things have gone up. And then demand that you're not expecting also, so that's out of your control really. Animal control is probably another one that's coming in over budget. It might skip in a little bit. It's only about 2,000, 3,000 right now, looking like it. And that's been higher veterinary costs this year, and I don't even see how you can really expect to budget real close to that one. You can kind of go next year and hope, well, maybe we won't have the same problem, or we look around and find out that we do have the same problem. Most of it's to do with cats, I believe, from what I've been talking to, animal control as much as possible. Then let's go. So I'm in tonight, sorry. Administration budget, we're sitting pretty good. I still think that that one's gonna come under budget. There's a few things that are gonna come up in Q4 that have kind of just been waiting till the end of the year. Some of them have got to do with contracted services and getting timing for getting those done. Looks to me still like being about 26 under budget, but that could be some timing and coming a little bit closer. There was some stuff that wasn't already in when I was looking at the forecast, and I've been using my Q4 numbers as well to help me with that. Still think we'll be under budget. Protective services, the emergency services and fire protection are in there. Another one that's hard to budget for is emergency preparedness. You just don't know what's going on out in the community. That's the contractor, and it's still under budget, and it'll be probably under budget unless something really goes haywire, but we'll leave it that way for next year. The fire protection right now, and this has been each quarter, we look like we're under budget, but we've got some things that still need to come in, the paid on call, and they are almost done. So that's good. Really want to be able to get those numbers in, and Brent said the other day that he's had just some stuff he had to get from the guys on the weekend, and then he'll have the rest of the reports done, and we'll get that taken care of and be able to get a really good picture. But when you look at the fire department, overall, they still look like they're coming in under budget by quite a bit. And most of that's got to do with their fleet. There hasn't been as much when we were budgeting for what kind of repairs and maintenance we were gonna need on the fleet. Not as much has had to be done this year as they thought. And that's another one that you kind of like, well, the age of that truck, yeah, that could happen. We put in a whole bunch of tires and not all of them had to be done, that kind of thing. Then common services with Public Works, that's Public Works, Transportation, and the Seagate. The it's all timing, you know, the biggest part of that is the transportation, which is ditching, snow removal. And we just gotta wait and have that stuff happens as it goes along and see where we get to at the end of the quarter, but it looks like it'll be under budget unless there's something really unforeseen happens with snow or weird storms. I've talked to them and they have not got a lot of work that's gonna be done, that's gonna be eating up some of that budget, so I think it's done really well. Environmental and public health services. That's, we've already talked about that one with the cemetery. Garbage looks like it's still gonna come in a little tiny bit over budget. I think that was just, we used CPI and the contract changes with boxes. It looks to me like a lot of it is around the recycling, and it could have been when I was doing the budgets, I wasn't taking enough into effect of the extra garbage picks up through the year, and so with the rate changes and stuff, it's not gonna be very much over budget, but it's something to keep in mind going forward. Then, economic and development services, we just haven't had any planning or zoning expenses. I don't have the pool in here, but I've stuck a little note here that like the pool looks like it is under budget right now, but we know that we're gonna be spending a big portion of that money here in Q4. There's training that's gonna have to happen, chemical, there's some R&M stuff that's gonna start happening, and so that's not like a nice little buffer or anything sitting there, it's money that's gonna be used for sure. And it kind of gives them not a great picture at Q3 when you look at it, ooh, you know, but we all know what's going on with that one. Recreation, Q3 is over budget. This has been kind of like from the summer going in, and it was our budgeting going into it. We didn't have the Hardy Hustle budgeted, and we didn't have, some of the contracted services. So looking at it this year, we'll sit down a little bit closer and go through trying to get a much more, I'll sit with Tanya and we'll go through, more, each of their quarters and how they see it happening going through the year. But we also know that the pool's coming on, and that's gonna be a big shift going into having a lot of stuff with the pool. So that's just, it for that. The arena, we were over budget, and that was the extra ice. It was,
Went in early.
yeah, we didn't have that in the budget. Now, I think a lot of this is gonna come to me asking, you know, like I sat with them individually, we went line by line and stuff, but now that you've got a bit more knowledge in your head about, you know, well, what are we gonna do this next year? Are we not gonna do this? And I've been out and about in the community, and not the community, but gone for different, into the dam, which is nice. So you get things in your head, you know, been over to the rec center and seen more of their programs that they have, and it'll just help me to be able to really come in there and not, I mean, we'll be trying to stick to a very similar kind of budget, but just a bit more organized and quarterly. We talked about that in the first report, that not having straight across the board lines, you know, like snow, why would we, you know, let's put it where it belongs and that budget in the last quarter, so that we're not bringing this little comment every time going, wow, that's snow, right? The curling rink is gonna be over budget, and that was unforeseen, R&M that we weren't expecting, for some exterior doors. Overall, I think it's, like I said earlier, I think it's been doing really well. And as long as everybody doesn't look at their Q3 reports that I just sent to them and go, oh, I gotta spend some money. And I don't think so. I talked to each of them. So now you guys have got all the reports, and now just if you have some questions or a little bit more information from what I went over, that'd be great.
So Chipper,
Just the one, where are we sitting with the rusting on 17?
Oh, the truck for the fire department?
Yes.
Is that ladder 17? That's the one on the
Yes.
top where they
Yeah.
have to get the work done on that? I think. Yeah, you can go for it. I know bits and pieces of
Yeah.
it, but Heather's been taking care of it with them, so yeah.
Yeah, so, just so that everybody's aware, so there was, we did actually have the repair done to ladder 17 of the corrosion that had occurred. But then more corrosion was found, as we know. And so now it's gone to it's gonna have to go down to Langley to be, reviewed by the company who's actually, looking at that. So we're just coordinating what that's gonna look like going forward. because it will mean that we will be out of service.
Mhm. And that, what was for, under warranty too, was.
We're hoping,
Mhm.
but our body shop can't handle the workload in order to get that done. So I don't have to put some of this out. So we're just trying to figure out what that looks like.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you, this is good enough, this is good to know. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. Didn't
I
for it.
agree. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's very easy to read, easy to understand, and it's greatly appreciated. So thank you.
Thanks, good to know.
Yeah, really good.
All right, current bylaws, bylaw number 1167-2023, permissive tax exemptions for years 2024 and 2025 for adoption. Moved by Councillor Tidbury, seconded by Councillor Dukas. Any comments, questions? Councillor Textball?
I got a question. Can someone really explain this to me? I'm reading it over and it's not making a lot of sense.
CEO Nelson Smith.
So, you want the overall what permissive tax exemptions are?
Sure, just like kind of, yeah, quick.
So automatically churches are exempt for permissive tax exemptions except for their outbuildings. And so what ends up happening is when an assessed value is applied to every single piece of property within the district of Port Hardy.
Yeah.
And within every community, and council has the ability to forgive those taxes for certain reasons. And some of those reasons include, philanthropic, reasons. It could be charity, it could be, shelters, it could be, seniors housing, it could be affordable housing, it could be, supportive housing, et cetera, et cetera. And every, basically, we have to actually report back to BC assessment prior to October 31st with our permissive tax exemption bylaw. We did one last year for a 5-year period, so that, for 3 years. It was a 3-year period, thank you, to be able to cover us off for 3 years. This particular individual didn't have everything in order to complete that for 3 years. So what we did is we gave them the permissive tax exemption for 1 year, so it was like extending it. And then we said, if you can get us your information, then we'll extend it for another 2 years so that you'll be in line with the others. So current tax exemptions that we have right now are Salvation Army has a tax exemption. If we had a church that had, let's say, an outbuilding that was being used on the property that wasn't necessarily for church services or for, and it was maybe being used for like a safe injection site, let's say, that could also be exempted as well. So we can actually exempt portions of a property. The other one that we have currently on the books is the Legion, is also exempted except for their bar and the outbuilding. And then the other one, please remind me. We do have quite a few. Hardy Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, thank you. For Hardy Chamber of Commerce, the museum, those buildings are all exempted as well.
Right.
And then this one is just for the garden.
It's just for the, sorry?
It's just for the garden.
Oh, yeah.
At the park.
Yeah, okay.
And then the daycare, thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. The pending bylaw number 1164-2023. Amendment to zoning bylaw number 1010-2013. And then council reports. Council Robinson. You never go first. Well, there you go.
So I was able to attend the Ferry Advisory Committee meeting, which was in Vancouver. And there was actually fairly good attendance. It was, interesting. I think one of the things about attending it when you have the ferry dock here and both ships come in and dock, it's as much monitoring what's going on. So things that you can have a comment if things are going to be changing, which they're not. But anyway, it was good. And it was, I don't have the statistics of ridership over the summer, but there was lots of talk about particularly with the Central Coast and Haida Gwaii, how critical the ferry system is and how it truly is part of their transportation infrastructure. And not always reflected with BC Ferries. And so the discussion about, well, you know, transportation, anyway, that would come up. Also, it came up, we had brought up, the idea that, there be somebody who is a representative of tourism on the ferries, particularly in the summer. And, if we want to make that happen, we will have to make that happen ourselves. Ferries, BC Ferries, I don't think is going to go out of their way, but, they won't go out of their way to prevent it. We just need to do it through our own tourism address and general. I'd be interested in that.
Yeah, on that very thing, the BC Ferries did bend over backwards. They provided an office space, they provided food and accommodation, and they provided a phone and internet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, fair enough.
so they, in recognition to BC Ferries, they did supply those things.
Yeah, I might not have been fair to them. What I meant was that if we want to see it happen, it has to come from us, and they will accommodate once we do that. I would hope, but we're not there at that point. Yeah, anyway, so interesting discussion with BC Ferries, and if there is something coming forward, it would be good to see. I was also at the Port Hardy Fire Open House, which was great. I quite enjoyed it. We had 3 generations of our family attend. The youngest generation, I have to say, was very excited about going, but the reality of big truck flashing lights was a little bit more intimidating than he had anticipated. So he spent a little while, but he did like this. He got a hat. Anyway, it was really good, and the firefighters were very accommodating. And I was at the volunteer breakfast too, which was really nice to see. And I do have to, all the people who organized that breakfast, I have to thank as their volunteer time. And the folks who did all the writing for all of the recognition of volunteers, having done some writing for things, it's hard, and it's time consuming. At least I find it time consuming. So kudos to the people that did all the writing for those awards and everything. It was well done. So thank you. That's me.
Thank you. Counselor Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. October 11th, attended the Bear Smart meeting. The minutes are attached. October 13th, the Port Hardy Tourism Advisory Committee. That was a good meeting. Minutes are also attached with that. And yeah, we had brought up a lot of things regarding our West Coast and things that are happening out there. So it'll be very beneficial if we can get that parks to sit down, just so we can have some signage. A lot of really good things were brought up, actually, even signage before going out on the gravel road right at that front area, just to get some more information about it so that people are more prepared. So some good things will come from that. October 14th, I also attended the open house at the fire department. Got to follow in your shoes and tried on some gear. Very heavy. I am so impressed with our firefighters. There's no way I could be climbing. And yeah, I don't know, kudos to them. And October 15th had the volunteer breakfast. I thought it was such a great event, especially for the first one. It went over very nicely, and I agree the words were great. Also emotional, you know, one of the awards, I think that was very special. I certainly had shed some tears. So thank you so much to everyone that organized that. I think it's a great beginning, and we really need to, you know, showcase our volunteers there, what make the community. Otherwise, we couldn't afford to put on the services that we do. And then after that, I attended the fire hall duty, and they have these checklists that are like 3 hours long that they have to go through to maintain our fire trucks. I was just so impressed, and watching them do all of this work. It's pretty intense, and we're pretty lucky to have them taking care of these assets that are so much money. So I greatly appreciated that. And then October 18th had the Port Hardy Heritage meeting. It was a good meeting. The gift shop is doing well. There's a lot of cool stuff, but I think that the Heritage, they're going to be coming to one of our councils. So I don't want to steal any of the thunder. Like, our curator is doing some incredible work and has made some incredible relationship buildings and gone to a conference in Haida Gwaii. And again, I don't want to steal her thunder for you guys, so I'll let her share the next when she comes to do that. But that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Dorwood.
That, Friday, there was an Association of Vancouver Island and Coastal Communities meeting. And, there's about 10 meetings a year, but we meet in person only twice, just before the conference, which was in April and in October. So it was in person. It's always nicer than, you just, get more accomplished. So everybody got an email, in the yesterday, I believe it was, about, the upcoming convention. I know you all have the dates. I think it's April 12th to 14th. But just a reminder, I'm sure we'll see the resolutions come to upcoming council meeting for us to start thinking of those. And then photos of our community. That was actually my suggestion, that they had a roll of different communities. So hopefully we can send some stuff there. And then they're looking for suggestions for sessions and speakers too. So if there's a fabulous speaker you've heard or something you want more information about that would apply to others on Vancouver, then it'd be really helpful for people to come forward with those. Attended the volunteer breakfast, super nice, classy event. Thank you for the organizing that the staff did for that. Yeah, it was great to thank some of our community volunteers, and I know there's a lot more volunteers that weren't nominated, and yeah, there's so many volunteers in our community. Appreciate every one of them. I attended the fire department open house as well. We heard about that. And I attended the Northland Community Forest open house after you guys.
You were there after we left?
Yeah.
Oh.
It said open house 5 till 8.
That's
Shut this
right.
up. I didn't know there was a speech taking place. So I just thought it was drop in, so, because I did show up, but I didn't get the whole speech. So I just got the brochure. Anyway, that's it for me.
That's funny.
Missed you.
Right?
Yeah.
They had good attendance though, like
They
there was
did.
full sheets of attendees.
Yeah.
We were near the bottom.
Counselor Tidbury.
Few things. Again, the tourism, I got into that. I also did the nominees for the Fort Rupert Band. Saturday, the North Island Concert Society. I attended that, and again, on the Sunday, of course, was the thank you breakfast. I enjoyed that immensely. And I really enjoyed how it all came together, and the hard work of all the people that did that. It was fantastic. On Tuesday, I forgot the name of what the meeting was. It was at the Civic Center.
Oh,
It
Talent
was
Solutions Summit.
Yes, that's it. Okay.
You were there.
So that was kind of interesting. It was a good meeting.
Mm.
I watched till I got bored of it. I watched the premier's discussion, and I didn't watch the end, to tell you the truth, 'cause, well, there was tons of people on there, but wasn't what I was expecting. Today we held our first hamper meeting, and hampers are gonna go out on December the 16th. And we have a place to wrap gifts and stuff, and there's one of the hotels came forward and volunteered the space, so it's fantastic.
So you're gonna take donations and gifts again?
Yes, of course, goes without saying. And it's gonna be the same as what we've been doing in the past. There will be a gift certificate and then toys for the children. And there'll be letters coming out to everybody just to give an outline of the hamper donations and stuff. And I think that's about it.
Counselor Texmo.
So I wasn't able to make the last council meeting, so kind of what I've done prior to that was back to Truth and Reconciliation Day, was there for that, photographed that. And, it was, great to be a part of that and listen to all the words from Dean and everyone up there. It was awesome. I've been out of town for a lot of things. I wasn't able to make that volunteer, breakfast, but I think I definitely want to thank the staff and everyone for putting that on. And I really want to thank staff for going above and beyond for gratitude and recognition to volunteers and service members for our community. I think we're starting to see a real positive impact from that. People are talking about how the district's recognizing people. It's huge. It goes a long way. It's great. Keep up the great work on that. It's awesome. The only one I was able to really congratulate in person was Cole Morton, who came here with our mayor, and I was able to make that and shake his hand because, again, another volunteer, doesn't have any kids in hockey and coaches rep hockey and goes above and beyond. And a big reason why it means a lot to me to see him be like that, because his dad mentored me at a young age and helped me become who I am. To see Cole walk that path is pretty extraordinary. So yeah, I was happy to be there for that. And going back to the fire hall open house, I wasn't able to make us out of town, but Christy, I encouraged her to go, and she brought Reed there and with all the boys and everyone. They said it was amazing, that the boys had a ton of fun, and that it was orientated for everybody. It wasn't just adults and everything. It was awesome. So thank you to everybody for that. Another thing I want to mention too, I think it's worth mentioning, is that a bunch of us have been going to the toddler and youth skates that the rec department's been putting on. And we've been getting nothing but amazing feedback about it. And then with Tanya, talking with her about, and she's been amazing with taking all kinds of questions and everything and working with us. And I just want to say thank you to her and to the rec department for putting that on, because it's been amazing and everyone just loves it. So again, thank you to
Lots of
everybody.
grandparents showing up.
Lots of grandparents showing up, even had Mr. Mello show up there and take Reed for a skate. So it's great to see those kind of things in our community, and people sure do enjoy it. So it's awesome. Thank you again. And that's it for me.
Counselor Dugas.
Yeah, I was able to attend some things, not everything, unfortunately, but the volunteer breakfast was really amazing. It was really well done. It was a good turnout. I know that not everybody that we were hoping to be there was there, but what was it? What do you think the attendance was? Was there 100 people there? Was there? You think?
92.
92. Well,
We could round that up.
Come around it.
I knew it was close because there was quite a few people there. It was really well attended, and it was, very well put on. And those centerpieces that Heather put together were just absolutely beautiful and really made a difference. And the way they had the table set up, it was like a formal setting with real dishes and paper plates and all that stuff. So it was really cool, really nice, really well done. So thanks staff for that. It was pretty amazing. I had an opportunity to go to the community forest open house early. Actually, it was kind of funny because I had on my calendar 6:30.
Oh.
And then I got a little Fred said, "Oh, I think it's 5:30." Then I got a hold of the mayor and she said, "Oh yeah, it's 5:30. So you better get your butt here." And it was like 5:15 when I got that message. So I didn't speed, but I got there pretty well on time. And it was very well done. Ione and that team are amazing. All the hard work that they do. They gave out a little brochure here, and I think that it's very fitting to recognize the fact that since its inception, $6 million has gone to 3 communities. Like $2 million a community, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. And another thing that's amazing, what did she say? That we were like right at the bottom of the smallest community forest in the province. But not only that, in regards to how they do the operation, 80% of the revenue that they get goes back to the communities. So only 20% of what they do goes back to operation on their costs, which is amazing. And she basically said, "Put me the best in the province for that." So that goes a long way. So we do know that we're working on other partnerships. We work within the Kwagilth and the Quat-Senior Nations territories. And we're hoping that we're going to be able to soon have partnerships with them. We're working on that, and we have been for quite a while. And I think that's pretty exciting. So one of the things that was brought up at the meeting that I knew I'd heard about it before, but I didn't realize how impacted it was on our communities was people going in and cutting wood in our community forest areas. And they said that there's a lot, probably 10% of the cotton in one area was taken by residents on the North Island for firewood. That's like going and stealing from your communities. And they were talking about putting signage up, and they said, yeah, but what I'm thinking on that signage, it should say, don't steal from your communities. Because it's exactly what you're doing. You're taking money out of our communities that could go back into things that we really need. And I thought that was, yeah, it was a shock. Because I don't even think about it. But they said not only are they cutting wood that's on the ground, they're cutting trees down. Like literally logging and cutting trees down, the bucket it up and taking it for firewood. And one of those fir trees that they were talking about was like about 3 foot at the butt fir tree, which is worth a lot of money. And they cut that up into firewood. That's not good. And unfortunately, what was the name of the company that they said there's a group that goes and does that, but there's nobody up in the North Island that does it right now. That goes and actually.
CNA.
Yes.
Forestry CNA.
Yeah, they come up and make sure that people don't steal wood, but we don't have anyone in our area now, so they were hoping that we could, as government agencies, could put a little pressure on and say, yeah, we really need somebody up here to keep looking at that, so that doesn't get out of hand. It is kind of sad, really. But anyways, they're doing a great job, and we're hoping if we keep lobbying with the province that we're gonna get more tenure. But like I said, we're kind of low on that, throwing the ball. Had an opportunity to go to the Talent Solutions Summit with the mayor and with John. John was our song guy, kept everything going there. And the speaker that they had there, Todd Hirsch, I guess his name was.
Yeah.
He had some great ideas. And he brought it, she was the speaker, and he was talking about some of the things I'd just like to talk about. He said, Canada is dependent on trade, export market. That's what makes us. And to have those, and not to have relationships with companies all around the world is important to us because we could export our products to them, obviously, right? And then one of the things that was kind of interesting that the mayor and I were sort of talking about was US and the G7 makes up for 10% of the population. And then you got the China and the BRICS, which is another group that sort of work together. That's 46% of the population. And they have a lot of control of what goes on in the markets. And it's going to have a big impact on the future where we're going. The other one that he brought up was concern about what they call stagflation, which is the worry about what could happen like they did in the 70s with the high interest rates and high unemployment. And then we're hoping we don't go in that direction. But the thing that's really getting us down now with regards to cost is climate change.
Yeah.
And the extreme weather events and what's caused the high insurance rates, and the blowback onto governments, local governments, and the cost that it is for them to try to deal and to mitigate the damage that's done with these extreme floods and what's happening in our costs. And the costs have gone up. One of the things I wrote down was it's gone up 4 times higher than what it had been in the past with regards to recovery. So it's crazy. And labor shortages and everything goes back to immigration. What are we doing? I just saw on the TV today, there is a backlog of 99,000 people on the waiting list to come into Canada. 99,000 people that want to come in. And I see that our province just made an announcement. Premier Eby was talking about opening up the doors, right? Less restrictions and bring the people in because we need the people to do the work. And moving forward is everything. And obviously, we got to do better with our workforce. We got to do better with regards to the uncertainties for the future that they're worried about. They're worried about, okay, are we prepared for another pandemic? And how are we going to deal with it? Know your strengths. Be prepared for anything. And one of the things he kept saying up all the time was show up. Show up. Be there. Care because you care. And always think about the mental wellness of your staff and what you can do to make it better. But not only that, be kind to all your staff because they are your future. And without them, where are you? So thank you, Heather. Thank you, Heather, for all the great work you're doing because that's important, right? To have that relationship. So I know I went on a little ways, but I just thought that I'd like to share that with you because I thought it was very well done. I mean, I thought that was good. I mean, there was some things that were, I think we were both hoping for that we were gonna tell us something wonderful that we could do better. And the panel that was there, they said what they're doing, and I think they're doing a great job trying to bring people here, but there's so many other things that come into play. And we do know that it doesn't matter what we're looking at, there's shortages everywhere. There's not an overabundance of anybody. There's shortages everywhere. So what can we do to attract people up here? We gotta know who we are and how we can make it better for them. So that's where we're kind of at. So sorry for the longevity, but just thought I'd share that with everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Barry.
So some of the things I did, I attended a virtual, Island Health Local Leaders Meeting with the other mayors in the Mount Washington region. Fort Hardy Hospital, that paving will be happening over the next week or two. And eventually we'll have increased paving or increased parking, better sidewalks, and the CT scanner is still gearing up to be here and operational very soon, hopefully in November sometime. Nursing for acute and ER is still challenging to get enough employees. There's still, I don't know, 60 or 70% are there, but we need more. Lab techs and lab assistants are in short supply. So they're still trying to recruit more and doing as best they can. Speaking of needing more, the Port Hardy Fire Rescue Open House, which was hopefully to recruit more recruits. They hoped to get one, but they were hoping to have more recruits. It was a great open house and very good, and it was really good. And the following day I went to the fire hall duty, and it was really interesting where they had each piece of equipment there's a iPad and a checklist, and they have to take everything out, make sure everything is operational, and put everything back. And so that was really interesting. And one thing they pulled out was that they pulled out a compressor that had a flat tire. So they had to make sure the compressor had air in the tire, and so that if they do get called out, they're not scrambling, and as well know where all the equipment is. So that was really interesting. Attended the North Island Concert Society, and it was two young men and it was called the Piano Heist. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that, but what I enjoyed the most about it is they had gone around to the different schools in the area, and a number of the kids that saw these performers at the school said to their parents, "They're playing on Saturday in Port Hardy, we want to go."
Oh, wow.
So there were so many kids in the audience. It was amazing. It was so much fun hearing these kids laughing. It's a piano concert, but the way they did this, it was very, very well done. And I cannot stress how important the Concert Society is, and having more attendance is always better.
The bills next.
Yes. The volunteer appreciation breakfast was so good and so well done, and I cannot stress how much we appreciate the volunteers in our community, but also the volunteers in our district. So our CAO, Nelson Smith, went above and beyond, making centerpieces, crafting speeches, making sure she had all the words right. And so kudos to you and your staff and your organizational ability. And today, there were obviously people that weren't able to go to it for various reasons, mainly because they were already volunteering. So presented one award yesterday, Mr. Morton, and then presented 4 awards this afternoon. And it was nice having the 4 together. We've got one more award to be presented that it's to a youth volunteer, and I stopped in at their school and talked to someone, and unfortunately she was away sick, but I'm gonna hopefully find her tomorrow and present it at the school. They said that was okay, and they thought she would be fine with me doing that, because I wanted to make sure this person would be fine with me doing it that way too. The Labor Market Talent Summit, you know, some of the stuff that happened there was things that we knew already. But one thing that I didn't know, and I thought was pretty amazing, was, geopolitics.
Mhm.
And we know what's happening in Israel and the Palestinians, and we also know with, the Ukraine and Russia. And these military wars don't just affect those countries, they affect the world.
Yeah.
So the G7 countries, which we're part of, is US, Canada, Japan, France, Germany, Italy, United Kingdom, and European Union. They represent 27% of the global GDP, and only 10% of the world population. And the BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. 30% of the global GDP, but 46% of the world population. So it's pretty significant how we are in the minority. So we need, as a country, need to start looking at, all of a sudden I went to food security and just making sure that we're okay. And Councillor Dugas brought up different things, but the 5 main drivers that this economist talked about, this leads to unsettling things, uncertainty, and the threats. And yeah, so that was a little bit,
That is,
what's that?
all right, let's keep hearing something.
I'm sorry.
They're having fun.
Oh,
Oh, outside?
oh,
Oh, that's outside.
Yes.
oh, someone's phone.
No, my phone's out there.
Yeah, Joe. I can't shut that off.
Oh, do you know what? One, just getting diverted about phones and cell phones. I know one mayor that charges $20 if the cell phone goes off in her council. Whoa.
Nice try.
I know, $20.
John just walks in, throws 20 on the
For
table.
$20.
Yeah, just put a pile right there.
And, yeah, I did much of what everybody else did, but I also had a meeting with the executive director of North Island Crisis Center. And do you know that they are the largest nonprofit north of Camel River? They have 58 employees,
Best kept secret.
best kept secret.
Mhm.
I've asked her at some point to come and do a presentation to the board.
Yeah.
Or
I
the
attended
council.
that meeting too.
You did?
Mhm.
No, you didn't? I was.
No, the awards.
Oh, the AGM, okay.
Mm.
And if anyone is listening about the community forest and the tree cutting that happens there, that is poaching, that is
Yep.
stealing.
It's a lot.
But, and we talk about the signage and changing the signage so it doesn't just say community forest, because some people, if they are naive, will think I'm part of the community, I can take this wood.
Mhm.
So they need to put up some signs that say no tree cutting. You know, and they also talk about having separate areas where tree cutting is allowed, or not tree cutting, firewood cutting is allowed, but no tree cutting. That's it for my report. Okay, we have a number of information and announcement. Just want to draw everybody's attention to October 30th. Is when we return to alternating bi-weekly garbage and recycling pickup.
Mhm.
And then a number of other meetings. Any errors, anything that needs to be added? We have no in-camera meeting at the present time, but there will be one coming up soon, so notice will be going out at some point. And motion to adjourn. I'll say it on Fridays.
Everybody's.
Any questions from the audience? Yeah,
With the ladder 17 that's gonna be down, what does that mean for fire? One, that we have another.
Yes, And we have more pumpers.
That's just our
We
phase